Reverend Amina Bliss, and it's my joy to be with you today at the Inspire Spiritual Community. We have a wonderful service for you. We are so wonderful, so grateful to have the lovely Reverend Carlton Teabout back and Jennifer O'Brien as our guest speaker. And our theme, always so apropos, is Here We Grow Again. And it's just a reminder that every moment is an opportunity for us to grow. We are expansive beings, and this is what we're here for, to grow and expand and learn. And so that's what we're doing today. Always, right? So perfect. So let us just get ready to settle in. But before we do that, I want to share a little bit about the community. We meet on the second and fourth Sunday every month online. And next service will be with Reverend Alfreda Lanois on August 24th. Is that right? The next service is in 2 weeks with Reverend Alfreda Lanois. And
August 27th.
27th. Thank you, Tom. August 27th will be our next service, and we'll be staying on this theme. And then in addition to Reverend Frida on that day, we will have a special poetry reading by Annis Casals, who has a brand new book of poetry out. So we're looking forward to hearing Annis's new poems. Oh my God, Reverend Carlton has the book. You rock. That's so cool. And also want to give some great acknowledgement to our amazing service committee, which includes Tom Hennessy, Garrick Angel, and we've had some folks recently not be able to join us on service committee anymore. So I want to just put out the call that if you are interested in helping out with services, that we would love to hear from you. Today, my wonderful partner, Kathy, is pitching in. And so I just want to give a thank you to Kathy for taking time out to be with us. And I also want to acknowledge Jennifer O'Brien, who has been doing our video editing. And so we really appreciate her making these recordings available on YouTube for others to see later. So thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Tom. Thank you all. So with that, let us move into our welcome. So we want to welcome any new folks who are here with us. And we raise our hands, we rub our hands together, we raise them to you, and we say, welcome to Inspire. We know who you are. You are a beautiful and unique way the divine is expressing itself on the planet. We see you, we love you, and we welcome you home. Welcome to Inspire. All right, so let's just settle in with some meditation. If you get comfortable in your seat, have your feet on the floor, put down anything you might be holding. Let's take a deep breath of love and gratitude together. Letting your eyes close gently. And just opening yourself up as a free flowing channel of God's love. Breathing in love, breathing in gratitude, and releasing everything that came before this moment. Another deep breath of love and gratitude. And exhaling any concerns, worries, just letting it go. How good it is to know that every moment we can start again. We're just one breath away from a new start. As we breathe in, we imagine more love flowing through us, expanding us, opening our hearts. And as we breathe out, we send that love out into the world. And as you continue to breathe, think of the expansion of your being, filling with more breath, filling with more life, filling with more love, allowing growth, expanding just like God does. God is ever expansive, and so are we. And so we see ourselves growing our hearts, growing our beings, growing in love. Let's just take a moment in the silence, breathing in this love, sending it to ourselves and sending it out to the world. Mother, Father, God, infinite intelligence, divine love, all that there is, how grateful I am for this moment right here, right now, connected together wherever we are in the world. So grateful for this community, for this Inspire Spiritual community. So grateful for this moment to connect in with each other, with spirit, with ourselves. We bless this service. We know that it is perfect. We know that the perfect configurations of souls have joined together for this moment, for this service to share, to learn, to grow. We let go of anything that may be troubling us, any worries, concerns, fears, doubts, anxiety. We let it go. We open up to the free flow of God's love as our life. We open up to the wisdom, the brilliance, the beauty, the perfection that is God, that is love, that is all that there is. We stand in this truth of our divinity and the divinity of all life. We are grateful for every opportunity to grow. We're grateful for every opportunity to express more love. And that's what we're doing today. We're expressing the love, the joy, the peace, the freedom that is our true nature. And we share this with everyone because we're one with them. In grace and gratitude, we release this word, we allow it to be, and so it is. Amen. Okay, so I'm happy to bring up Reverend Tom Hennessy for our mission statement and namaste. Reverend Tom.
Yeah, let's put our hands on our hearts in a prayerful position and bring it up to our lips and to our forehead, for our the bright, intelligent, our third eye. We bring it back down to our lips and bring it back down to our hearts, bow forward to each person and say namaste. The God in me salutes the God in you. Okay. Let's all look at the mission statement. It's on the screen there, and we can say it in the privacy of our homes, but the more voices that is heard and spoken, the stronger it is. Okay. Inspire is a spiritual community of like-minded souls committed to walking our talk in joyous fellowship by demonstrating the power of love, compassion, and non-judgment every day in every way. Recognizing the divinity of all life, we stand united by actively liberating humanity, by healing judgment, fear, and shame within ourselves. Our intention to create world peace, piece by piece. Woohoo! And now it's my great pleasure to bring up Jennifer O'Brien for our God Shop.
Hi, I am Jennifer O'Brien. I think you'll see my face in a moment, or maybe I just don't see my own face, but I'm Jennifer O'Brien, and I am an Inspire Spiritual Counselor graduate. And like Amina said, I volunteer on Sundays to edit the Sunday service videos and get them up on YouTube. So if you're not continually going to that database of amazing content and listening to it every day, it really is worth checking out. So here we grow again, right? What is the number one killer of growth in our lives? In my life, it's confusion. And I love to be confused because I get to go to brunch with my girlfriends and talk about how confused I am. And, you know, they're going to give me a lot of attention. And then I'm going to call my mom on like Friday night, and she's going to put in a bunch of work trying to unconfuse me, trying to unravel it all and give me her help and support. But I will leave that call more confused because I love to be confused. When I am confused, I don't need to move forward. I don't need to challenge myself. I don't need to face my fears, and I don't need to grow. So what is the quickest way to maintain get or maintain confusion? Well, if you want to get or maintain confusion, all you need to do is look outside of yourself for answers. Because when you look outside of yourself for answers, you are going to be met with tons of contradiction, right? So, you know, when I'm out there looking for answers, a lot of times I'll hear, you know, first I hear, hey, you know, you should set some goals. And then right after that, I'll hear, you know, just remember you're perfect. Or I'll hear, hey, you know, you need to really develop this servant mindset and serve others. But also, like, you can't help anyone unless you help yourself. So self-care is number one, right? It's all very contradictory when you look outside of yourself for answers. Or even you might watch like 20 TikToks and get like 3 perfectly good solutions to whatever's vexing you, but then you're just going to be confused about which solution is really going to be the best solution, you know, of the ones on offer. So we love to stay confused. It kills growth. It kills growth. So I want to tell a quick little story about a time recently when this confusing spiritual practice became really clear for me. And I've always been quite confused by affirmation, and I've been working on it for like 25 years. And I've gotten a little bit more clarity and a little bit more clarity. But I've always, you know, anytime someone says things like, if you are struggling to pay your bills, you know, affirm your wealth. I get a lot of issues around that. There's lots of things I can't wrap my head around with that, even though I myself, have done a lot of work. But recently, around Thanksgiving last year, I was diagnosed with like a really aggressive uterine cancer. They were calling it stage 2+, which is what they say when you're like 1 millimeter away from stage 3. So I do want to spoiler alert that I'm cancer-free today. So I don't want you to listen to this story being like sad and worried the whole time. Okay, it has a good outcome. I am reborn. So when I got the diagnosis, my inner voice was very loud. And I knew very clearly that I wanted to do everything that the doctors asked me to do. I wasn't going to Google like all the drugs and then tell them which ones I would take or not take. Like I was just going to do everything exactly the way they told me to do it. And I also knew really clearly that I wanted to affirm my health and vitality. And there was no confusion. Despite, allowing myself to be confused about what I want to do for a living for the last 5 years, like this was very clear. There was no confusion here. And I think that clarity happens when we have these kind of major situations. So instinctively, my inner voice was very clear that I did not want to talk about my condition with hundreds of friends and family, just reaffirming each time I told the story, what the condition was. And I also really instinctively was really clear that I didn't want to listen to stories about your aunt and your sister and your best friend, because I knew that listening to other stories would affirm my condition and, posed an opportunity to create fear or sadness. So I posted a video on Facebook and I told everybody what was going on. And I let people know that about every 3 weeks, I would post an update, but I didn't want to do a bunch of phone calls. I didn't want to do emails and texts, like send me your well wishes, but I'm not planning to respond to anyone. And I also instinctively knew on the opposite side that I didn't want to tell a lot of people that I was spiritually denying the existence of cancer because, people who aren't into the mysticism, like don't get it. And I didn't want people to be concerned and sending me articles and like presenting all of the contradictory information that exists in the world. So I kept that kind of to myself, just between me and my partner. And where I was constantly affirming my health and vitality as a habit, each time I did the chemo, I did the radiation, I did the surgery, everything as prescribed by my doctors. And I also affirmed my health and vitality. And I think in the past, I've been really confused about people who say that they're going to do this because it seems so counterintuitive. But it was just like so clear within my own being that this was what I wanted to do what I needed to do for me. And every time I went in for radiation, which was 5 days a week, I used that time to create a practice of saying these 15-minute affirmative prayers, just showering the spirits of beyond this world with my gratitude for my health and vitality. And it became really clear to me that it's not about the declaration necessarily, but all the little things that you do around that declaration, all of the cultivation of your language and the cultivation of your new habits and your cultivation of all these things that are going to support that affirmation or declaration. So, when I was cleared, I did announce that I'm cancer-free, but I remember when I was learning about affirmation related to money, when I had a lot of debt, someone said, don't think about being debt-free, because when you think about being debt-free, you think about debt. And when you think about debt, you manifest debt. So they offered up the opportunity to think about being cash positive. And I could really clearly see the difference in the charge between saying debt-free and saying cash positive. The charge in that was different. And so I knew that in this situation too, I didn't want to talk about myself as being cancer-free because cancer never existed, right? And I don't want to affirm cancer in my life and think about cancer and manifest cancer. So, you know, I am willing to tell people once or twice, like, yeah, I'm cancer free. And then after that, I've decided that I'm telling people I'm just reborn. And I feel like being reborn really acknowledges that, like, I've been through something and I'm on the other side of that. And it's so positively charged and it's so hopeful, right? And it's just built in with so much possibility. So, you know, I don't know if any of this is making sense to y'all, but to summarize what I'm trying to say here is don't allow yourself to wade in confusion and affirm confusion by telling stories about your confusion over and over and over and over again. It's totally unnecessary. Listen to the answers within yourself. Don't go outside yourself for the answers. Nobody can tell you the advice or the right answer. It's got to come from within. And do the thing your higher self is calling you to do. Don't just hear it and then be like, okay, like in a minute. No, do the thing your higher self is calling you to do. And then use intentional language to manifest. So take a language inventory and think about how you describe yourself and what you tell people every day. And is there some way to upgrade your language, you know, to a more positively charged language? And then finally, you know, this is really just a testimony that affirmative prayer and affirmative speech is awesome. And I love it. And I think it works. And, you know, being ill and affirming my health and vitality, in doing that, I really grew exponentially in the areas of being intentional with storytelling and intentional with story listening. And also, you know, just in the words that I choose. And these steps really helped remove what I thought was contradictory or counterintuitive about affirmation. You know, I really got some clarity on this topic during this time, in all these things that you can do around that declaration to really support the declaration in its manifestation. So thank you so much for listening and letting me share. I really appreciate it.
Jennifer, you are absolutely amazing. I'm so grateful to you for sharing what you have learned and what you have experienced. And I'm so thrilled that you have proven that this spiritual law is the truth and that it can be used and you can share it. I mean, sharing is what it's all about, you know, that you have gone through this for something, that you have learned something deeply, profoundly useful for yourself and for others through this experience. And I'm so grateful that you get that and that you're sharing it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, you're amazing. Well, I know I needed to hear that today. So yeah, thank you. Oh, it's now my joy to bring Reverend Carlton to the stage. We're so grateful that he is part of our community. He's the assistant staff minister at Agape International Spiritual Center and the manager of Agape University and the co-director of the LGBT ministry at Agape. Give a warm welcome to Reverend Carlton Teabout. Yay.
Thank you, Amina. And thank you, Jennifer. That was I love your energy. I love the way you present. And you gave us some laughs. So I appreciate that. And the power of your truth revealing, your healing is awesome and inspirational. So we appreciate you. It is my joy to be here. Thank you again, Amina. And I love this sweet community. And I love the topic, right? The topic, here we grow again. And so I was all week long, I was, here we grow, here we grow, here we grow again. I was in the Shoop song. I was doing it all weekend, all week. Little salt and pepper, right? But here we grow again. You know, we're always growing, always shifting, always expanding, always creating. And at one time, I may be delusional, but at one time we actually believed that, you know, we would get to a place where we didn't have to really grow again, that we had all of our life lessons, that we knew it all. Not happening, right? We continue to grow, we continue to expand. And I thank God that I was wrong about that, because our growth, it allows us to appreciate life, to have a more expanded awareness of what is true and what is real. And the growing procedure, it's sweet, right? I don't know. You know, how many of you like are okay, yay, I get to grow some more today because I'm challenged, or oh goody, this is for me, oh goody, my daddy issues are up again, I get to grow again, woohoo, you know, or wake up like, good morning world, how can I grow again today? It's not the case, right? It's not how, for me, it's not really how I participate. You know, we are conditioned in so many ways through from the time we came into the world, from the time we were conceived, that there's this physical growing and expanding that is always taking place. And then as we are participating in life as children, and we're so conditioned by being told what to do, what we should not do. Oh, you're really good at that. Or, you know, all of the ways in which we're conditioned in how we're supposed to grow. And then the response that we have in our own, what we take on as our own belief system, it can be, some of it can be traumatizing, some of it can lead to rebellion, some of it can lead to great creations, but there's a conditioning process that takes place in our growth. And as we become, you know, adults and are participating in our free will, right? And as we step into our own world and start making our own choices, you know, there's the opportunity to well, here's what I was thinking earlier. It's like, the last 20 years, I have grown more than I have in the 40 years previous to that, you know, and you know, there's always this opportunity to continue to grow, and sometimes it can be exhausting. Let's be clear. It's like, if most of us here have said yes to continuing to grow, continuing to expand. We work in consciousness. We're expanding what we know to be true and how we see or create or participate. And then there are times when we really don't want to do that. For me, I'll speak for myself. There are times when it just feels challenging. But we have a choice, right? We can say no, or we can be in the flow, right? We can say no and push up against. And the thing is that whatever's seeking to emerge, whatever's trying to make itself known, it's going to keep trying to make itself known, whether we allow it with grace and we participate fully in the flow of it or not. And the more that we become resistant, right? Resistant to it, the more we get into that state, which Jennifer was talking about, that confusion, the frustration, we're looking outside, we're not allowing what is trying to reveal itself. It is our nature to reveal itself. We're kind of getting in the way of that. But if we move into the flow, if we become aligned with the nature of the divine constantly expanding, constantly creating, we get to flow. We use this principle, one of the universal laws and principles at Agape, and this one, it's a universal principle, so it's not just Agape. Let me just say that. But the universe, being infinite, is in its constant state of evolutionary expansion. I'm gonna say that again. The universe, being infinite, is in a constant state of evolutionary expansion. We live in a non-static, ever-evolving universe, which is the source of our individual evolutionary impulse and our capacity to expand into our fullest potential, which is infinite. Each individual's expansion contributes to the evolutionary progress of the whole. It is the nature of the divine to expand continuously, giving of itself, expressing. And the nature of the divine is the nature of our being, right? We're one with spirit. Spirit expresses through us. We're necessary for this flow of creative intelligence to make itself known in this particular incarnation that we are all participating. So the flow of change and growth is always happening. Common sense to me is like, why don't I just flow with it then? Let me be present to the way in which I can grow in the highest way possible. So in the physical body, right, we have so many ways in which we grow. We grow physically, mentally, emotionally. And then there's our spiritual growth, right? Our spiritual growth, which is more of a choice. And like I said before, most of us have chosen this path. But the journey, it never ceases to amaze me. So right now, like I just said earlier, it's like, you know, the changes that we go through when we say yes, the growth we go through when we say yes is revealing itself for me in a particular way right now. And what I know for myself is that I have established a particular identity in my life, right? Even through all of the changes that I participated through my youth, all of the changes in coming out, all of the changes in performing as a female impersonator through all of the years, and just the way in which all of these identities have come together, and here I land. Here I land as a minister in a New Thought spiritual center, and finding myself, it's the word I want to use, makes me sad a little bit, finding myself dimming the light of my experiences, dimming the light of my identity to maybe be accepted or to shine in a particular way in certain times. And up until maybe a couple of months ago, I didn't really notice that there something was tapping at me, that this is not really being genuine. This is not really being your authentic self. And am I, this is my inner conversation, you know, to all of the I's and me's that are within here. Are you really participating to the fullness, to your genuine, unique, individualized expression that all of this experience of your life has revealed itself to participate in? And my answer was kind of like a sheepish no. I'm not, you know, and so I get the opportunity, even though I thought all of those experiences that I have grown through, I really get to grow from them where I am now and allow that to express itself in a whole new way. So here I grow again. But as I grow again, the being that I have said yes to, and then the way that I get to speak and participate and create community and teach and share and receive sharings, the way I get to flow in this life right now, by my saying yes, my growing, I get to grow with everyone else that's with me. That's that principle. That's the principle that I just spoke to. I'll read it again. The universe being infinite in its constant state of evolutionary expansion. We live in a non-static, ever-evolving universe, which is the source of our individual evolutionary impulse and our capacity to expand into our fullest potential, which is infinite. Each individual expansion contributes to the evolutionary progress of the whole. As we grow, everyone grows around us. As someone else grows, we grow with them because we're a united field, right? So I want to read. Some of you have heard me read this already. This is probably the third time you may be hearing it, but I used this morning in our 21-day meditation practice. And this reading is from Howard Thurman, and it's called The Sound of the Genuine. There is in every person something that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine. There is in you something that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in yourself. Nobody like you has ever been born, and no one like you will ever be born again. You are the only one. If you cannot hear it, you will never find whatever it is for which you are searching. And if you hear it and then do not follow it, it was better that you had not ever been born. You are the only you that has ever lived. Your idiom is the only idiom of its kind in all the existences. And if you cannot hear the sound of the genuine in you, you will all of your life spend your days on the ends of strings of somebody else that somebody else pulls. The sound of the genuine is flowing through you. Don't be deceived and thrown off by the noises that are part even of your dreams and your ambitions when you don't hear the sound of the genuine in you. Because that is the only true guide you will ever have. And if you don't have that, you don't have a thing. Cultivate the discipline of listening to the sound of the genuine within yourself. There is something in everybody that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in other people. I must wait and listen for the sound of the genuine in you. I must wait. For if I cannot hear it, then in my scheme of things, you are not ever present. So as I live my life, then this is what I am trying to fulfill, that I'm secure because I hear the sound of the genuine in myself. And having learned to listen to that, I can become quiet enough, still enough to hear the sound of the genuine in you. Now, if I hear the sound of the genuine in me, and if you hear the sound of the genuine in you, it is possible for me to go down in my spirit and come up in your spirit, so that when I look at myself through your eyes, having made that pilgrimage, I see in me what you see in me. Then the well that separates and divides will disappear, and we will become one. Because the sound of the genuine makes the same music. Boom. I love me some Howard Thurman. Right? Yes, yes. I love that part, though. Now, if I hear the sound of the genuine in me, so if I'm listening, if I'm present with me, and if you hear the sound of the genuine in you, it is possible for me to go down in my spirit and come up in your spirit, so that when I look at myself through your eyes, having made that pilgrimage, I see in me what you see in me. Then that wall that separates and divides will disappear, and we will become one, because the sound of the genuine makes the same music. One, one, one. So even in those times when we try to ignore it and try to look past outside, I don't want to change, I don't want to transform. I know that that's from the pain or the fear, the frustration, the confusion, the doubt. But here's the thing, again, we can't stop no matter how we try. So what do we do? What do we do to flow with our growth? We turn to our spiritual practices. We become present and just know awareness. In presence and awareness, everything's already good, right? There's no real growth that has to happen in the absolute. However, our human experience is based on growth. And so we have to catch up, right? There's a way that we get to catch up, and that's what we've said yes to. We said yes to being, a human being having a spiritual experience. So our awareness, our presence, our spiritual nature is already good. But how are we supporting ourselves and really embodying that truth, allowing shift and change and growth to create from the highest place possible? So first, we just embrace, right? We embrace the experience. There's something happening. There's something shifting. There's something wanting to be revealed in this moment. And one of my favorite questions is, what is here for me in this? What is here for me in this? And just that invitation opens up room for support, for resource, for all sorts of things to express. And in that same, when we ask that question, we also we get to identify what is it really that is being called to, how are we really being called to grow? And then secondly, we move to get support. Lean into our community, lean into our prayer partners, lean into a friend, walk in nature. Source expresses in all manners of resources. So we connect, we invite, we study, we find inspirational readings that go, oh, they're talking to me. That reading, The Sound of the Genuine, it was for me right now. And I'm sure it was for some of you who just heard it. So we open our hearts, our minds, our souls to the invitation of being supported. And we are supported. We are divinely supported in all ways, always. And then we get to move through. Jennifer talked about setting goals, but we get to create. We get to circulate. We get to take action. We get to activate. Even if it's baby steps, we're creative beings. And this flow of growth that is taking place is expressing itself because we are creating something new. We are stepping into a newness. So this is the next aspect of our flow. And then lastly, it may not feel like the flow is taking place in the way that our human mind would like it. So we'll make mistakes. It might not be the in alignment with the vision that we had or the way that it's going, but we get to be gentle. We get to be gentle and nurturing and appreciative of ourselves for just being willing to move in the flow of this growth that is taking place. So as we embrace and flow in our own growth, allowing our genuine self to be revealed and to participate from this space, we get to see and be seen from the awareness of oneness. As we grow and flow, we're taking that dive. We're going down in our spirit and we're coming up in the spirit of those who are with us. And we get to be seen from this awareness of oneness. And growth continues gracefully in its infinite journey. Here we grow again. And again. And again. I'm grateful to grow. So it is. Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful, Reverend Carlton.
you.
Just magnificent. Just take a moment and feel that. Oh, yeah. Does anyone have any questions or comments? We have a few minutes for some dialogue for Reverend Carlton or possibly Jennifer. Bill, you can
I'm
go ahead
Bill.
and unmute yourself.
Yep, I'm all set. Okay, so when I sat down, I mean, I've been on these calls maybe a couple times. I've known Carlton for years, since Boston. I've known Reverend Carlton. So I sat down with my journal before you guys all started speaking, and the first thing I wrote in the journal was, "I'm really confused today." Having no idea what she was going to talk about. I literally wrote down, "I'm confused on what to do about," and I started listing things. Then I stopped when you started speaking and I went, wait a minute, she's talking about, and that's a God shot. That's a total God shot. And Carlton, you guys sending me the email, and I saw that Reverend Carlton, I mean, I've already been on a CSL Zoom out of Fort Lauderdale today. I listened to Reverend Michael at the 9. Now I'm doing this, then I'm getting my hair cut, and then I'm going on an AA meeting that I've been sober for a long, long time. So Sunday is a day of waking up and being awake. And I loved both your shares. I literally took 5 pages of notes from what the two of you were talking about, and they both fed me in different ways. So I just truly appreciate it. And thank you so much for sharing your insights and your gifts with us today.
Bill, thank you so much. That's beautiful. Thank you for being with us today. We're clearly meant to be here, and we all are. And so it's beautiful to see that kind of proven. Reverend Carlton, I wasn't sure if you were going to say anything, but you were muted. So just want to give you the opportunity before we move on. Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Annis, go ahead.
I just wanted to say I love what you read, Reverend Carlton, and how beautifully it fit with everything that we've talked about today. And I appreciate you introducing me to Thurman. I didn't know him. I've probably heard you read snippets of him before because, like you said, you read it before, but this really struck me, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you. I love your book.
Oh, thanks so much. And Jennifer, you had me just going, and I love that about about the confusion and your beginning of how we can get confused, and boy, can't we. So I appreciate everything that you had to say as well. Thank you so much.
Yes, Jill, you can unmute. Thank you. Thank you, Annis.
Thank you, everybody. And my first time here, and I've got a new computer, so I'm like, I had to do some stuff, and I'm very blessed to have it. But it's very confusing at the same time. I hated getting it, but I love today's pitch and thoughts. Right there, Jennifer, with I think I lived 10 plus more years in that state, and getting more opinions just kind of mixes it up, keeps you in that state. So thanks for the memory of and I'm so grateful that I don't do that as much as I used to. I can't say I don't ever do it, but just bringing it to the forefront. And Reverend Carlton, The second time today, that was amazing. There's one line in there that doesn't sit well with me that you and I can talk about later. We'll figure why that is. But I love Thurman and just being connected with everybody and to be here with Spirit. So thanks again for the invite and letting me hang out and just have a beautiful day. Thank you guys.
Yeah, I'll speak to that line. we can talk about it now. No, so yeah, I noticed, and it to me too. There's a word.
Yeah,
Like a
I don't think I
severe
want
thing.
that. No, I don't want that.
Well,
That
it says
sucks.
it says if you cannot hear it, you will never find whatever it is you are searching for. And if you hear it and then do not follow it, it was better that you had never been born. Is that the line?
No,
Oh, it's not? Well, that's the
no,
one that worked. That's the one that goes like
that's
this.
the one that made you. No, it's the one that I have a problem is, I don't want you coming up my spirit. No,
Oh,
where we do that interchange of spirit. I'm like, no, I don't think so.
Jill. All right, girl, promise not to.
So we might have to discuss that later if you don't want to address it now.
All right. But I will tell you in the ways that we have shared before and with many of you that know me and we have had intimate conversations, that is exactly what happens. When we get to a space where we're clear and we're connected and there's no agenda and we're present with each other in a particular way, and we've set ourselves up in that space before, that is exactly what takes place. It may the language of it may sound interesting, but we do go down and come up with each other so we can connect. And it's no longer our individualized being, our personality, but it is spirit expressing as the one mind through this connection that we have made. And so that does happen. So sorry.
So I think it's just the wording, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, we do
yeah.
that's an enjoyable when two souls, spirits connect on that level.
Yeah.
That's something I love.
It has to be willing on both parts. It's not
Right.
like I'm just gonna come tapping up in your spirit, girl. Hey,
Thank you.
thank you, Jill. Appreciate it.
Jill, thank you. And thank you for being here. Welcome. And hopefully we will see you again, second and fourth Sundays, right here on Zoom. Does anybody else have anything they would like to ask or share? I love this conversation. And I love the willingness to say you disagree or just, I think that's really important. Just to be able and then to, hear a response and, oh, maybe I can see this differently now, or maybe I still don't like it. It's all good, Very cool. Well, I'm really grateful to see some new folks here today, and I just want to remind you that we do meet on Zoom, and so you can invite friends from anywhere in the world to join us at Inspire Online. And we are really looking forward to expanding our community and sharing with folks anywhere in the world that they can have a relationship with spirit just as they are. And that, there's so many folks who are in the LGBTQ plus community who don't have spiritual support, don't even think they can have it. And maybe that's not everywhere in like LA or other places, but in this country and all over the world, there are folks who are suffering and struggling alone. And we are here to welcome them. We're here to share with them and grow with them. And so please do let your friends know who would be interested and could be supported. We'd love to have them join us on this journey as we're all growing together. And before we do anything else, I want to acknowledge Reverend Tom, who just had a birthday on 8/8, which is such an auspicious day. And so just want to give a blessing and a thank you to Reverend Tom. Reverend Tom, happy birthday. We wish you many blessings. We are grateful for your spirit, your service, your love, and we love you. Happy birthday, Reverend Tom.
Thank you, everybody. I accept it.
You're very welcome. So one last call for questions or comments. Okay, so let us move into our moment of sharing. And we invite you to share your love and your resources with Inspire by making a donation. You can make a donation at www.inspirespiritualcommunity.org/donate. You can go to the email that you received and click on the button there. Any amount that you can offer is much appreciated. And you may also donate your time and your service. So we're open and accepting of all good. And we thank you for helping us be in the flow of giving and receiving. Thank you. So with that, I would like to ask Reverend Carlton to give us a closing prayer.
My joy. I'm grateful. So grateful for this sweet community and grateful for this unique collective consciousness of the, what is it? There's 12 of us here plus, and everyone who listens, everyone who participates in this community. Oh, let's just bring in everyone on the planet. And in particular, I'm just very aware of Maui in this moment. Let us be present with the island itself, the lives that have transitioned. And when we hold the energy of grow again, let us know the healing. Grateful for the opportunity to pray and for the devotion and the heart of each one here who is lending their consciousness to this prayer field. I am grateful. So it is in the spaciousness of gratitude that we recognize a power and a presence that is infinite in its giving. This unlimited creative source energy that expresses in its fullness everywhere and always. It is boundless, changeless, infinite, absolute. It is always expanding and evolving and expressing, giving of itself, loving itself into creation in infinite ways, through all nature, all science, all technology, all creation, every being, every life, all systems. This flow of infinite intelligence is the abundant nature of the universe, the perfect order of the universe. It expresses itself in the most magnificent way and in the simplest organism. This flow of love, light, intelligence is, and it is all that there is. God and only God. And knowing that this presence is, and it is everywhere, I know that it is the very essence of my life, that I am that the nature of this loving presence is the very nature of my being. So what is true about the presence is true about my life. I am one with it, in it, as it, of it. This is true for each one here, each one that can hear my voice, and each one on the planet. Each unique, individualized being is an emanation of the one. So this unlimited creative source energy is the very essence of each being. Only one. So in the full awareness of our oneness in God, we open our hearts to the grace and the divine guidance and order that is always present, revealing itself in the most magnificent way through, in, and as our very lives, through grace, wholeness, perfect peace, vitality, harmonious good, abundance and prosperity, unlimited creativity, pure potential. This is the nature of each of us as the one of us. So as we embody this truth for ourselves, as we realize this truth for ourselves, we extend this awareness for each one that is near and dear, each one who's coming into our awareness. And again, let us bring in all the places on this planet that we can just love up in this moment. That we can be the light that supports the growth that is taking place. Beyond condition, circumstance, appearance, diagnosis. Let us know the wholeness, the vitality, the magnificence of presence as it reveals itself everywhere and always. So I give great thanks. I give great thanks for the opportunity to be present in this truth. I give great thanks for the collective consciousness that is here in agreement. I give great thanks for the word and the word that is spoken, knowing it is true and done. And again, just thankful for this sweet community of Inspire. So it is from that place that I release this word into a living, loving law, calling it so. And so it is.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I could listen to you all day.
Thank you, Ramit.
And you mentioned your 21-day meditation. Do you want to share about that?
Sure. Sure. Every month we do 21 days. It's 21 days for 21 minutes. We meet every morning live on Zoom. At 7:15, I open the room, and at 7:21, there's an intention that we set, a particular word of the day, and then we move into the silence, and we're still together. And then there's a prayer as we come out, and it's a beautiful, sweet community. We've got about maybe between 30 and 40 people that show up every morning. Reverend Marcel is here, Jill's here. And I know Bill gets the recordings. So it's a beautiful, and everyone's welcome. And it's free, everyone's welcome. So you can email me at, I can put it in the chat.
Great.
It's my email. And again, it's 21 days every month. And it's a powerful, powerful practice. And it's good if you want to establish a practice, or just enhance your practice.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love to see people join us.
Yeah, sounds wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It sounds a beautiful way of reconnecting to our own spirit, even within, sometimes we kind of let it go, but it's still there, and we gotta, the more we practice it, the stronger it's like a muscle. We gotta strengthen it or we lose it.
That's right.
Yes.
Work it out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
We'll see you back here on August 27th with Reverend Frida and poems from Annis. And in the meantime, will be with you in our hearts. Love you all.
Beautiful,
Have a
beautiful.
great
Thank
day.
you. Thank you, everyone.